Lincoln's 200th birthday is in February, and I think it's a great time for everyone to look at America's past, to look at America's story, not just Abraham Lincoln, but history in general. It's a good reflective time. And it's interesting, it's a huge anniversary for a lot of other things. You know, Charles Darwin and Abraham Lincoln share the same birthday, so it's his 200th birthday too. I also think it's a time to rethink our approach to American history a little bit, to freshen it up, so to speak. I always worry that people think, well, history never changes, and you know, it's facts, and we know what we know, and it's completely not true. And the anniversary of Abraham Lincoln is the perfect example of how history changes, how old information is reconsidered, how new information is discovered. You would think we knew everything about Abraham Lincoln, and we don't. I mean, Abraham Lincoln is the person most people write has been most written about in American history. You would think that with all that, all those books, with all those people doing all that research, you would think that we knew everything about Lincoln, and it's completely not true. So it's a wonderful time to go back and re-examine Lincoln. I think time to look at him not just as the legendary Lincoln, but as a person, just like you and I, which is what, when I was working on the Lincolns, was one of the biggest goals of that biography, was to introduce Lincoln the way I know Lincoln. And I say that, it's not like I'm 200 years old, although my sons might tell you I was. But it's a time, for me, I wanted to show Lincoln the human. And when I was growing up, I actually grew up in Central Illinois, and if you've ever been to Central Illinois, you grew up in Central Illinois, you know that Abraham Lincoln is a presence there. He is alive and living every day. He's everywhere you go, and you live with him. He's a neighbor. He is somebody that just goes with you everywhere you go, every day. For example, my friends and I would ride our bikes out to the Lincoln Log Cabin, which was about 2 miles out of town. And it was the place where Tom and Sarah Bush Lincoln built their cabin when they moved to Illinois back in 1830. And back in the 70s, when I was a kid, it was a state park, but the state of Illinois wasn't giving it much love. So there wasn't a park ranger there wasn't a visitor center. So you would go to the log cabin, and if the door was unlocked, you could go in, and if it wasn't, you didn't go in. So as kids, we would ride out there, and the door would be unlocked. We'd go in, and we'd play in the loft, and we'd play in the root cellar. And a couple times, we actually tried to start a fire in the fireplace, which was unsuccessful, luckily. But you think about this: you're actually playing in the Lincoln Log Cabin, and playing house. No one cared. If we got bored with the Lincoln Log Cabin, we would ride out to Shiloh Cemetery, which was about a half a mile away, and that's the place where Tom and Sarah Lincoln are buried, and we'd hang out there. We'd sit against the gravestones, and we'd eat peanut butter crackers. I mean, he really was everywhere. My best friend Emily at the time, she had a house that Lincoln had slept in, and actually her bedroom was the same room that Lincoln had slept in. So I always say, from 5th grade to 8th grade, every Friday night I slept in the Lincoln bedroom. I mean, it was just, but as a kid, you kind of didn't notice it. He was just a presence. He was so familiar. And in Central Illinois, we have a habit of marking everything, which is why it's called the land of Lincoln. Every street corner is marked. If Lincoln was there, we mark it. So we have a plaque. Lincoln dug a well here, Lincoln wrestled a bully here, Lincoln bought a hat here, Lincoln got off a train here, Lincoln spat on the sidewalk here. We mark it. So you live with that day to day. So for me, when I approached Lincoln, he felt like a neighbor. He wasn't that legendary figure, mythological hero. He really was just a neighbor. And I thought, that's the Lincoln that I want to introduce young readers to, because that's the Lincoln I think is important to remember, that he was a man just like us, a human being just like us, flawed, and that's what greatness really is.